What I hear you saying is, because there are these natural laws that we have discovered, there must be a coda, right? That's what I hear you saying.
Are you disagreeing with me?
What? No, this is what I hear you saying.
This is the best inference.
Right.
It's interesting you say that. I agree with you. Do you know what I agree with you? There is no end to possibilities. But each possibilities which are meaningful, we should be able to discuss them and see whether they are actually believable or not. Like, for example, you might say, you know what, it's the spaghetti monster that created the universe. Do you know who says that? You know which scientist?
No.
Okay, forget the names. No. There are people like that.
But I mean, I can say to you, this is a common example. Right, I say to look around Venus.
Yeah.
There's a green teapot that's orbiting around Venus.
Yeah.
Prove that there isn't.
Yeah, we can go there and find out where exactly you're pointing to, and if it's not there...
You can't prove it. There's no teapot going around Venus, can you?
Once we go to Venus, look, once we go there...
Get there? Well...
No. Once we go there, and where you exactly pinpoint the astronomical location, and it's not there, then we would say your claim was bogus.
Yeah, that's right.
So this is calling like, okay, until we find the evidence of going there and so on, this is still a hypothesis, right? That's what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay. But how about dealing with the observable phenomena today to see whether this can give us an indication whether there's a God or not? The fact that you are standing here and you're not floating up is because of what we call the gravitational constant. Gravity, right? These are laws that we observe in our universe, very, very precise. Such precise that if it was slightly less or more, it's a problem. So now what I'm asking you is this. Once we see certain laws in existence, right? Compare this with the laws in the roads. Highway code. Do you drive? Have you driven? Right. The highway code gives us all the laws, and in one page it tells you all the penalties if you kill someone by dangerous driving, 10 years prison, unlimited fine, and so on and so forth, right? I just looked at it yesterday. So this highway code, this law exists in written form, in writing, in whatever language, in English. Can this law implement the code on the streets, on the road, and put people to pay penalties? That writing itself, that book in which the highway code, in which the law is there, this writing which depicts a law, this law is not self-aware. It's not self-aware. It doesn't have a will. It doesn't have the capability. It doesn't have the knowledge, like you mentioned already, to implement and exercise and make it into reality. So if laws exist in our universe, which we observe, we need to ask ourselves, how did this law, abstract entities, exert its effect in material things? It cannot do so unless it is already being programmed by something that does it. Like a remote by itself, it can't do anything unless you press the program things on, off, fast, low.
This is when you just take you back a step. When you say it cannot do this, it cannot. Well, I would say that you're closing your mind to...
I'm not closing my mind, that's reality.
No, you're saying...
Okay. Can this phone now automatically ring my friend Hamza and speak to him? If I kept it on like this,
no, well,
it never will.
But we know that. We know that's the case. We know how phones work.
No, we know it's never going to happen.
We know how phones work.
Because that particular
capability... know how phones work,
no, what I'm saying is that phone doesn't have a will, and it's not going to make up its own mind and say, let's call Hamza. There is no code in there.
Yeah.
So if I were to program this phone, phone Hamza at this time, it will.
Yeah.
So what it requires for this manifestation of making this a phone call, a programmer, a coder.
For the phone, yes.
Right. The universe has laws. If there is no coder for these laws of our universe, no programmer, how is this law going to implement itself?
Particularly when the codes that have been programmed are far more complex than the phone.
Much more complex. To the power of 10 to the power minus 122, for example. You don't have any zero star.
Well, I just throw in one possibility,
And
is that these laws have just come about through natural.
they cannot. I'll tell you why they cannot. I'll tell you why they cannot come by natural.
They have just.
No.
They have,
The laws are so
they
precise.
have just developed.
No, they're so precise. That's why we call them constants. The strong,
Well, constants are I know what a constant is.
they're
Yeah.
very precise. So, when you say the law, how did it arrive in the first place? Number one. How did the law arrive in the first place? The highway code. Imagine now I give a book and it tells you how to drive at Speaker's Corner. Do you think a book will be written by itself,
No,
how to drive in Speaker's Corner?
Yeah, but I mean, you talk about the laws on the road. I mean,
I'm talking about codes, laws.
The highway code. I mean, that's been created by.
Do your worship Satan or no?
Sorry.
That law
By-
exists in the universe.
Worship
Where did it
Satan,
come
you'll be
from?
saved.
Where did it come from?
It's the real God,
But-
Satan,
but-
the devil.
By social agreement. You know, the rules on the road have been agreed to
By people,
by
programmers. Right. So you essentially,
Beings.
by the community.
so you're essentially saying, codes and program must emerge from,
No,
must result from.
I'm not saying must. No,
From where then?
I'm not saying
From where?
must.
They should come from where?
Well, if you're talking about
Physical laws
if
in
you're
the universe?
talking about physical laws,
Yeah.
I'm saying, well, they just are here.
No, no.
We just
Just here is not an explanation. God is there.
I'm
Do you need an explanation
well,
for God?
I'm saying I don't have an explanation, and that's what I'm saying.
But we do.
You do?
What we are saying is,
Yes.
intelligent human being like you and me would say that this law, just like the highway code, cannot exert its effect, materialize the laws in reality. If there are floating around laws in the universe, they cannot really make two objects repel or attract and so on and so forth. They can't do that. They are just abstract laws like what we see in a highway code. They can't do anything by themselves. So the fact that the laws exist and exert its effect, and they're maintained, they don't just go like this. It's not like that chaotic. The laws are so much in operation, that's why we are able to do science. If these laws were not there, as precise as they are, we would not be able to do science. We would not be able to do chemistry, physics, mathematics, engineering, nothing. It would be impossible for us. The fact that they are some predictable and so precise, with this accurate precision, we know that we can establish and do our science.
We use them, yes.
Right. So the point is now, these laws cannot be there, an abstract thing by itself, and exert its effect, unless you have a coder, a programmer, a lawgiver that is implementing.
Well, that's why we have a difference of opinion.
No, it's not an opinion. This is your best inference to the observation.
Well, that's your inference.
That's what science
No,
do.
no,
Science is always making best inference to the observation.
Yeah.
And I have given you example exactly using methodology of science, using the same paradigm. The best explanation, best inference for this observation is there is a programmer of this code who maintains and exerts the code into material actions.
I don't think.
Then you're being very unscientific.
I don't think science.
No, you're being very unscientific.
I don't think inference is scientific. I don't think it's scientific.
Have you studied science?
Sorry?
Have you studied science?
Yeah.
To what level?
Okay.
To what level?
Oh, only, you know. I mean, I've only got an honours degree.
Okay, but I did science in a master's degree, and this was a training to understand the methodology of science. And if you do a PhD, you get more training to understand, and then of course you become a scientist, right? After this training. This is the methodology that we understand and we use. So yes, science is telling us about an explanation that we observe things, we want to understand why this happens, these mechanisms.
The law of causality.
So that's why we make the best inference.
Well, we observe things.
Yeah, the law.
And we look. Look, my understanding. We observe the world, right? We form hypotheses
And make
then,
conclusions?
and then we test them.
Yeah.
And then we test them.
And then after that?
And then if we test them, and then we say, at this point,
Yeah.
this is our understanding.
That's what I'm exactly saying. At this point, any language that you use, I'm going to repeat the same things. At this point, this is our understanding. There is a coder, there is a programmer, there is a designer for these physical laws.
Right. Well,
Use the words I will repeat exactly the same words. At this point, carry on.
Okay. Well,
I'll use the same exact words.
with all due respect, there hasn't been a test to show that that is the case.
No, we have done the test. We have seen the physical laws in action, and we know how precise they are. Hoyle even changed his mind because he proposed a steady state theory of the universe because people were coming up. Now, I want to give you an example.
No. Well, wait a minute. I've been listening to it. But to take the step that there are these laws that we have. There's these laws, physical laws that we have discovered about the universe. Mm-hmm. To take the step that then there must be a coder, a God behind that. I mean, that's a step for me that breaks down.
What breaks down?
Because you can't,
why are we stopping there? Why not making the inference?
You can't prove that next step. You can't prove that there is a coder there.
But David, you're missing the point. You're missing the entire point. Let me try and break it down for you. What Mansur is trying to put across to you is what's known as an a posteriori argument. It means that if you believe through your, like you mentioned, through your observations of the world, and the observations lead you to certain obvious conclusions about the world, meaning that if you have something as simple as a mobile phone or the camera or anything of any level of sophistication, that your observations of the world lead you to the obvious intuitive understanding that there must have been a designer to this and it couldn't have just assembled by itself. Those things that are more complex than the mobile phone must by necessity also have a designer. So
I don't agree. No, I don't think you can take a simple demonstration like a mobile phone.
Yeah.
And then what's the word?
And infer
that to
something greater than that?
To God and the laws of nature.
Okay, tell me why. Give me an explanation why it is. And the only way you can get around this is by saying, I have an explanation other than what you're giving. The only other one is, I don't know.
Yeah.
But that's not an explanation.
But David, look, you're now placing all your baskets into what? What are you doing with you placed all your answers into a basket regarding the I don't know, which you've been holding to since the beginning of this conversation.
Well, not all my answers. I mean, there is knowledge. There is knowledge.
No, there's knowledge, and then there's observation, and then there's intuitive knowledge.
Yeah, there's knowledge.
Now, is there anything outside of that, David? Do you have a paradigm shift beyond the impossible? Or beyond the possible, sorry? Do you have a paradigm shift beyond the possible?
Well, we have a level of knowledge because we have shown that things occur. I mean, we proved Einstein's theories.
Yep.
And at the moment, we're saying that Einstein's theories are correct.
No, you're going back a few steps.
So,
I'm trying to get you to understand the fundamentals of it, David.
I'm not saying... Yeah, but I'm not saying that.
Go on.
I don't say I disbelieve Einstein's theories because I accept that some of them have been tested, or most of them have been tested out and shown to be correct. So I'm not saying I don't know that.
No.
I'm just saying that there are questions
that are beyond the understandings of our rationale, beyond our universe. Is that what you're saying? Then my question will be to you
that we cannot test.
No, but that testing has to be within the confines of this universe, within the confines of human rationality. Are you saying that we can know things by going beyond the universe, beyond our intelligence, beyond our rationale?
I'm not sure. I don't understand that.
Okay, let me break it down. Our total sum of our understanding in life is restricted to our world. It's restricted to what we know. It's restricted to our experiences in life. Would you agree to that or not?
It's restricted, yes.
It has to be restricted because we can't go beyond ourselves, can we?
We can't know what we don't know.
And the other explanation is we don't know. But you, for instance, you've lived a nice, long, wholesome life. And during that life, you realize that things can't just pop into existence by themselves. You're not walking down the road one day and suddenly a fairy pops out of nowhere.
No, we've agreed on that.
Exactly. Yep. So there are certain experiences that we can come to the conclusion through our lifelong causes and effects that we see in life, right? These causes and effects that we see in life allow us to come to very, very strong conclusions that certain things are going to take place, but other things are not going to take place.
Oh, no, I don't totally agree with you.
Go on.
With that. You can say, from my experience, I think this might happen in the future, or I think this will happen.
Yeah.
But keeping an open mind is that not everything will follow on from what I have experienced. Something might change.
Yeah, but
might be better.
something impossible is not going to take place, is it, David?
Not impossible. No.
Yeah, so,
no.
so I agree with you that certain possibilities will take place,
Yes.
but they are confined to our experiences in the universe, the laws of the universe.
Well, yeah, experiences, but we haven't
so-
experienced. There are still unknowns. You see,
No, but-
there's still things we haven't experienced.
No, but you're missing the point here. If we were walking down through the Sahara Desert and we saw dung on the sand, are you going to say, I don't know where that came from? Or are you going to use your experiences in life and come to the conclusion that that dung could not have come about by itself, that dung came about through a creature, an animal, ingesting?
I'll tell you what I say.
No, go on, answer that question.
Yeah.
What do you think the answer is to that? Are you going to say, I don't know? Or are you going to say, no, that was produced through causes and effects, and it was probably an animal?
I think this is a bit of an example. We'd like to hear your answer.
Yeah, go on.
Walking along, find that dung down there. Oh, that looks like maybe there's an animal that's left that there. Do I know what animal it is? Not really, no.
You don't remember me, but you really kind of visited me in the hospital. I was in hospital years ago. They brought me a copy of the Quran, which was very grateful.
You're Paul's friend, right? Paul Williams?
Well, yeah, let's say, I don't know if you regard him as a friend, but I know him. But yes, now, partly because of where he inspired me, I actually written a book, a Muslim detective.
Yes, of course, your rants. How can we not remember? The Muslim Detective, Chronic Mystery.
This is a short novel, and it's about a detective who's a Muslim who draws to fight a great evil, which is actually a kind of entity, to draw attention of the Quran, to use the Quran to fight this great evil.
Sure. So you embrace Islam or not yet?
Well, look, I'm a Christian, but I think in a way I can be more useful to Islam as a Christian, but as a member of the...
It's not the utility, it's about your own self and your outcome in the hereafter.
You're telling me what you should say, but I mean, of course...
maybe we can have a discussion. I mean, the utility is there, of course. We appreciate your work that you're doing.
But you you do Dawah. I know what Dawah is, and I obviously you believe it's important. But I think we got common enemies. I mean, like secularism and so on. So for me, it's a good idea to combine forces to attack secularism. But, I mean, if you want to,
that's fine. But we can still have a chat. It's very much. Happy to see you once again. Health-wise, yeah, very good.
Why is it that you're not willing to accept the fact that the mobile phone couldn't have come about by itself? And that it came about through a level of intelligence, through a being that exists?
Well, it did someone made it, someone designed it.
Okay, so what about the universe, the world that we live in, the Earth that we're upon? Is that more complicated than the dung and the animal and its digestive system and the mobile phone put together and the computers and the cameras and all the technology on this earth? What's more complicated?
Well, we know the human brain is the most complicated thing, but I can go to a factory and see a mobile phone being made.
Yeah, but it didn't come about through chance of probability, did
No,
it?
but I can see.
So the reason why you can see it exactly.
I can go and see it being made.
Exactly. So you
Yeah.
can
Do
see
you
it.
need to see something designed by a designer to understand this design?
No, but in this example.
Listen to that example. Listen to that question. It's a
No,
brilliant question.
no. In this example of the mobile phone,
Yeah.
right? I can see that
If you
it's
saw a
been
mobile
made.
phone on Venus, or on the moon, say, we can go to the moon, right? You found a mobile phone on the moon. Would you say just assembled by itself? What would you infer? What would be your best explanation as a scientifically minded individual? You saw a mobile phone on the moon. What would you infer? It's possible, assembled by itself?
It's been left there.
Why would you not ever consider the possibility, because there are possibilities, right? Because you don't know who made it. So you can still say one of the possibilities is it just assembled itself. All these things, particles of silicon, carbon, all the different things on the moon's surface, they came together over hundreds of years, thousands of years, and they assembled that piece. That's a possibility. But what I would like to know from you, David, why would you not consider this possibility something reasonable compared to your possibility like someone left it, some astronaut left it?
Well, if you came along and said, "Oh no, that phone has been made up,"
imagine that's what I'm claiming.
some way.
It just assembled by itself.
I'd say, well, you're right. If you think that's a possibility,
What would you
but,
say?
I think it's more likely that the phone has been left there.
So you say it's more likely because comparing the possibilities,
With my knowledge.
comparing the possibilities, you will discard some possibilities are less likely. We have made such an improvement here. Such an improvement, advancement in our understanding of each other's worldview. You would say some things are less likely and some things are more likely.
Oh, yeah.
That's your process. I agree with you. The most likely explanation of our universe and its physical laws, compared to all other less likely explanation, is that there is a coder, there's a programmer, there's a designer.
Okay, right. Okay. Well, that to me is progress, because I have not. I rarely hear people who follow religion say that we think it's most likely that there is a God, right? Because mostly I hear people who believe in a God say, no, we know there is a God. Now, what I hear is actually a change in the way that you're looking at your God. Instead of you saying, no, there is a God, I'm now hearing you say that there's most likely there is a God.
Yeah, but that was me many years ago.
Well,
So from there I've moved on.
You say that.
No. Between you and me, where we are in agreement is most likely this is the case. Then we take next steps. We try to understand, okay, why do we say most likely? Now, is it something that is necessary, that there should be God? Or no? We can go with other advancement in our thinking, critical thinking, and the application of that, then we'll reach other explanations and other conclusions. But for now, what we've agreed to so far, out of all these explanations, the most likely reasonable explanation to us is there seems to be a designer, a lawgiver, an encoder.
Right.
Yeah. If that is a step that you've taken, it is a wonderful advancement and achievement and progress.
Well,
the next thing is
I haven't taken that step, but you have.
Why
Why
have you not? Because have you given any other alternative, any other explanation which is more likely than mine?
Well, I think it's likely that the universe. It's as likely or more likely that the universe it didn't have a beginning.
I'm not talking about beginning. We're talking about the laws, its implementation on physical reality. We can't use an argument that is discussed and try to rebut another argument.
There we go.
Yeah. Do you see the point? We shouldn't be going elsewhere. The focus is on the universal laws, physical laws in the universe. Your explanation why they are in existence and how they are implemented in physical reality compared to my explanation of there is a lawgiver, enforcer, a designer, a coder. You're saying your explanation, which is more likely than mine, is I'm yet to hear your explanation, which is more reasonable to accept than mine.
Well, I don't need an explanation, do I?
Well, that's another argument altogether. You see, I don't need an explanation that there's a maker for your watch. I can just say, why do I even care? Your approach now is carelessness.
Well, I don't need an explanation because
When we die, David, and the angel of death comes to us,
yes,
and they're about to take our souls.
I don't believe in angels.
No, you don't believe, but I'm stating the facts
Yeah.
what I consider to be true. Right. When the angel of death comes to us, it is not going to be any utility on my part on saying, I don't believe in the angels. It's like you are in the Titanic and sinking. You can't say, I'm not in the Titanic and it's not sinking. The reality is, you are on the Titanic and it's sinking. At that point, there's no point questioning, my health insurance companies, or my travel agencies and so on. There's no point blaming them because you are now in a state in which the reality is really coming onto you, and to save yourself from the imminent danger, what are you going to do? You're going to simply blame, like, my friend that put me on this cruise ship and so on. none of them will be a good utility for you. So at this point, you'll have to be pragmatic and say, what am I going to do now to come out of this problem? We are already in this universe. We cannot simply deny that we're not in here. We can't say, I don't know. The fact that we are here, the fact that there are laws in operation, the fact that the laws are already exerting its effect in physical reality, I need to now have an explanation for it. Because otherwise, when I die, what's going to happen to me? So all of these existential questions, David, I'm sure you had this many, many times because you're more experienced than all of us combined here, perhaps, right?
No.
Okay, some of us.
But I mean, you need an explanation, right?
It's not about need.
Well, you have an explanation.
It's not about my need.
Well, you have an explanation.
You would really see yourself. The facts of the ground are this, right? So when you observe and assess the facts, you are not going to say, I am going to stop here, I'm going to not make an inference, not make a conclusion. Like you see a murder scene, right? And you see, I can see, look, all the evidence points to this person is an innocent victim and there seems to be a criminal just walking away. And you will say, why do I care if the criminal goes away? Look at the carelessness. No. Would you stop the criminal if you have the ability?
That is not a good analysis.
No. Would you stop the criminal?
Are you filming this?
Would you stop the criminal?
Are you filming this?
I'm not. I don't have. My camera is not mine. They're filming.
Are you recording my voice?
They're recording your voice.
Without telling me?
We have to ask the channel people who come here.
You have not asked my permission.
I haven't asked. They haven't asked my permission to record you either. So when we ask them, we'll ask and get this clarified.
Are you recording me?
Is that yours too? Okay. So we'll have to wait and ask for them.
If you don't want to be on camera, you can speak to them and they can.
Well, I just think it's polite to. I just think it's polite.
I thought you saw the
Yeah, but I don't know what it is.
But they can remove you from the.
Do you want yourself to be totally blurred? I can tell them.
Well, I don't even know what it is. But look.
No, we need to clarify this. Would you like these channels to blur your face, whatever is visible?
Well,
We can ask them, and they will listen.
Yeah,
Fine.
I don't
Maybe
even know.
we'll do
Who,
that.
I don't even know who they are. Look, in the end,
Yeah.
right? In the end,
Would you stop the criminal, or do you let it
I
go?
don't think it's a good analogy.
But I want to know: would you let the criminal go,
Well, no.
or would you alert the authorities? Why would you do that? When you see the observable evidence of the universe, you say, "I don't care. I don't need an explanation." When you see a murder happening in front of you,
I don't say I don't care. I have never
You
said
do
I don't-
care?
I have never said I don't care.
I stand corrected. You do care.
What I have said is, I don't know. I'm happy not knowing, right?
But you
At
do
the
know
moment-
now.
Well, no, I don't know.
Of course you do.
No,
A law cannot exert its effect without a lawgiver. I would like to see a counter explanation.
David, I think your I don't knows have now transformed into I deny.
No, it's not. What I'm saying is,
You deny the
no.
obvious.
What I'm saying is what I said probably an hour ago. Is that, unless I see evidence, you know,
That's the evidence I've given you. Testable evidence.
if
Physical laws are so precise.
well, I
You
don't,
can observe them.
I don't think
You can
that-
calculate them.
I don't think the laws that we have discovered about the universe are testable evidence that there is a creator God. Okay?
Did I use the word God?
I don't think.
Did I use the word God?
No, it's the lawgiver.
No, but you know, creator.
I didn't use
We've
the
been
word
told-
God.
No, but you know.
That's what you are having problems with.
when-
You're not having problems with the coder.
I'd rather talk to you because he's not listening to me. You two guys were talking about a creator God, right? And so I don't know. Is he part of your group?
He's a Muslim. He's
Right.
a Muslim, and he's given you exactly the same arguments that I gave you an hour ago, and which my brother gave you before then. And it seems like we've given you the arguments that we feel are reasonable, but you're still stuck on. Well, you made some progress. You've made progress from I don't know to I deny.
Well,
The question is, why are you still denying?
well, you're saying I'm stuck. I don't.
No, I'm not saying. I'm saying you progressed
No,
from
no,
I don't know
no,
to I deny the obvious.
You just use the word stuck.
No,
Hey, you just use the word
You
stuck.
can take your word back and
take it back.
rephrase
You
it.
said
I'll take it back.
You said I'm stuck.
No, but I did say I took it back, and I said
Right,
that you
okay.
progressed from I don't know to I now deny the obvious.
I haven't said I deny
Then
it.
answer his question. If you saw a murder taking place, what will your experiences push you towards? If you want to repeat the question so that he.
Well, I go back to my, to my use of the word love. Where I say nurture. My basic instinct would be to nurture the person who needs help.
How does that answer the question?
But you're asking me if I saw someone who's been murdered, I would go and attend to that person and see what I could do for them. That's just what a human being would normally do.
So you would react as what you think is the best way to react. That's exactly what we are discussing. When I observe the universe and physical laws in operation, the best that I can do is to react to the observation. And my reaction is knowing and acknowledging that there is a lawgiver, a coder, a designer. Right. That's the reaction. Why aren't you having the same reaction that I am? We are in the same process.
Because I'm a different person to you.
No, you're in the same process. We use the same process. Just like in a murder taking place, you would react. But when it comes to about the greater things, you stop reacting.
Because what I hear you saying is because there are these natural laws that we have discovered, there must be a coder, right? That's what I hear you saying.
Are you disagreeing with me?
What? No, this is what I hear you saying.
This is the best inference.
Right. And what I'm saying is, like, there are these laws, natural laws that we've discovered. I'm saying it doesn't have to be a coder.
It doesn't have to be a
It doesn't
murderer.
have to be a coder. It doesn't have to be a coder.
Why? What are the possibilities?
Because there are the possibilities.
What are the possibilities?
Because
Laws has created themselves.
He's a physicist, by the way.
yeah.
That's why he can't stop from not getting into this
I'm trying
conversation.
to understand. So, what are the possibilities? What are the other possibilities? Like laws have created themselves. Laws are implementing, enforcing themselves on the physical realm. Because, as per our understanding about laws, they are abstract things, abstract concepts. Yeah, I can write some mathematical rule or regulation like constitution or highway code book. They are written laws. I mean, they cannot enforce themselves, nor they can.
We've had this discussion.
Yeah. So what are the extra possibilities there? I mean, they are creating themselves, enforcing themselves, or they are just there. I mean, for eternity without no reason, just brute fact.
We know you're saying it's got to be this, or this.
Yes.
And what I'm saying is there could be this over here, which I don't know. Which I don't know.
Okay. So
Okay.
So
And what I'm saying is, this and this isn't convincing enough for me to believe that they. And what I'm saying is, right, is that I'm happy to live with an open mind that this is a possibility as well.
I don't know is not an open-minded discussion.
So when
It's not even on the table.
the problem is
You're doing
the
denying. You're saying I don't know, but the best explanation before me is something I cannot accept. That no longer is now. I don't know.
fallacious. That would be a fallacious.
It's not an explanation for me.
No, that would be a fallacious position of yours. Like when you say that when we are attributing something.
Would you like to sit down as well?
Yeah, sorry.
Because you've been standing quite some time. No, we can get a chair.
I've got my lunch in my bag.
It's all right. We'll wrap up soon.
You're missing all these people that you could be talking to. I'm taking up so much of your time.
No. We're enjoying speaking
One of
to
the
you.
best days of my life.
No worries, mate. David, we know you're going to go home and think about our conversations tonight, right? That's what makes us happy.
So even
There could be some steps we take to take you down a road where we explain to you a point, and then you accept or deny, and then at the end we explain to you that God exists. So there is this way of da'wah. But it looks like that you have a position you're holding, like in your mind, in terms of religion, faith. And that position is holding you back from accepting any rational understanding that
Well, I don't think I believe in a creator or a coder is a rational thing.
yeah, but
I don't think it's rational, I'm afraid. I don't think it's
what is,
rational.
what is the
it's pure
position
rational.
you're holding, you're protecting, you can explain to us, and then we can discuss it.
Well, what I think.
What do you believe?
So your option is we don't know. Maybe there are other options, other reasons for these laws being existing. I mean, and then and being enforced. I mean, being devised. Now, as per our understanding of laws, that laws are specifications of options. Like, I mean, traffic rules. Traffic rules means that it constrains your movement in a particular way. It leaves out the other possibilities. Yeah. So now, by definition, laws are something choosing a particular option out of many options. Given this basic property or defining property of laws, what are the possibilities that this nature can be holding or being run by laws? Because being run by laws means that other possibilities are being constantly removed. You know, other possibilities are consistently being removed. Like you are holding a routine to yourself consistently. I woke up in the morning, I brush, and then I go for running, having breakfast, and this routine, daily routine, we hold for ourselves. Some people, they do not hold that routine strictly, but there are possibilities that I can lead my life or do something without no routine. Yet I have the choice to hold onto that routine or being on that routine. So likewise, I see that there are other possibilities we can comprehend or imagine in the universe, but yet that is not happening. That means something is constraining it in a particular way. Yeah. So by this we recognize it is not explanation or hypothesizing, just recognition by our own words and understanding of laws. Like if I see yourself, then if I say that no, you are not a real human being, you are being holographic projection. Yeah, like optical illusion. Because I am seeing you through the light being reflected from your surfaces, and then through my ear, the talk or the sound I am hearing from you. So, in the same manner, like I recognize you as a human being with intelligence and senses, everything, reasoning. Similar way, when we see some effect, then we can infer the nature of the cause. Whatever cause it be, it must have the choice to pick a particular option. You know?
What are you talking about?
Even if you do not know what are the things, but you can infer that at least this minimum quality it should have.
The laws could have been otherwise.
But until you can actually see that this is the case,
We actually do not see anything.
Right.
We see just projections.
Yeah.
Just effects. Like we can argue that such an existence exists. Like we say that non-contingent necessary being. Like everything is dependent on conditions. That can be otherwise, you know. But if we go logically, rationally, then our reason will lead us to an existence which should be there necessarily and being independent of everything. You know, this our the rule of reason leads us there. Otherwise, we would make fallacies. Like when you say that when I say that according to our definitions and concepts, being observed through these effects and analyzing this thing, we say that whatever be the cause, that must have these minimum qualities. Otherwise, this cannot be the case. This is the recognition. Science has two parts. One is hypothesizing, theorizing, and another is recognition. Like I do experiment and identify that what are the characteristics of the new particles, what are the or the things. Identification. Because the effects are already around us. We ourselves, we woke up in the morning, become aware, and then sleep. That's different state. We do not control our food. We have not designed. Or taste. These new concepts. These are. We can say that they are for nothing, but that is not rational. Explanation. Yeah. So that's why we say that we cannot go backward to our childhood. We are forced, constrained in a particular way. We have eyes, we have ear, nose, everything, and the natural law is working. From the smallest region to the bigger galaxies and thousands of miles. Lights of years. So these are the nature of the enforcing agent. We can infer from the existence of the natural world and its effect on the natural world, like existence of laws and meaningful outcomes. So we can infer. Like I said that
we can infer, but those inferences might be correct. They might be wrong. Inferences might be wrong.
It is the best inference we can draw. This is the minimum. This is the minimum.
Oh, yeah.
Otherwise, other options, what would happen? What would happen? That there will be fallacy of appeal to ignorance. I cannot deny what my evidence is pointing towards. Just honestly, unless there is a second argument to deny that.
We can say, look, this is a situation. We can infer because of this that maybe this is true, but we cannot say because of this, this must be true. We have to follow a logical sequence of.
No problem. We say that what are the possibilities we can till now imagine? All the possibilities are not fitting except this one, due to the definition and the nature of the reality, empirical nature of the effects we see, the patterns, and the definition of laws we can comprehend or conceive in our mind. So given these definitions, to be honest, we do not have any other options to be being rational. So that's why we say that this is the best explanation. That's why science, in also scientific method in the field of epistemology, when we acquire knowledge, we do not know everything at first hand. What we do is that we analyze the effects, and then we progress in knowing it little by little bit, and then go by step. So this is the way.
So we can
now,
we can say this is the best explanation we can come up with at this time.
Yes.
Right, based on what we know.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that's what you're saying. Isn't it?
Yeah.
So we got this information. You say from this information, the best answer that we can come up is this answer at this time.
Yes.
However, this is still only a possibility based on the best that we can do. Right.
Yeah. Very excellent point. I will give an example.
But you have to. Well, no, I understand that. But you have to still have an open mind. You still have you can't just say, based on this, I will believe this, and this is what's happening. No other possibilities. That is an open.
Like you have said that when we say that electron has charge, so we identify those things, and now we can know better and better about electrons in later stages. But the aspect of charge does, never disappear. So the point I am making that in terms of physical theories, we say the classical physics, the classical laws of physics invented by Newton and Leibniz and other scientists. Then we have come up with quantum theory and then relativistic theories. Now the beauty is that they were not wrong in their domain. What we have discovered that classical physics is correct in that domain. That is, the quantum mechanics and the relativity is encompassing and expanding its domain in a much more generalized manner. That does not mean that the classical mechanics is wrong. Classical mechanics, the theory of relativity and the theory of quantum mechanics, that will merge towards classical physics, classical laws of physics, when we go to that domain. So my assertion is that when something is correct in inference, then whatever we can add, that will not change the basic inference. We can know about God thousands, many more times, and we will not end up knowing all the things. New information will come, our understanding will evolve, but minimum will be there. That's why I'm saying all the possibilities.
So the best explanation that you arrive is not going to be diminished by other possibilities. In fact, your best explanation will be enriched by knowing more. That's why when this Quran comes from this encoder, this programmer, and tells you the nature of who or what this programmer is, your understanding of your best explanation is enriched. You understand more to another level. So all the other possibilities which are not reasonable to accept, they will diminish. Your best explanation will become better and better. That's our approach, and you will be, at least you will see where we are coming at. We're not asking you to believe in God first of all. I'm saying, take these logical steps. These logical steps will take you to the best explanation. There is a designer of our universe. As to what the nature of the designer is by identifying the signs of the effect, the design, to understand the designer. When you see a beautiful picture, you know much about the designer already in terms of their artistic skills and so on. So when you look at the universe, you already see the characteristics, qualities or attributes of this designer. That the designer has so much knowledge because of this precision that is all there. The designer has will and capability and abilities. So all of this will come to you to another level of understanding, and this Quran tells you much more about this designer. That's the next step to take. Once you know that, yes, best explanation seems to be there as a designer, as to what this designer is, communication from the designer. So no more speculation, no more possibilities. The designer tells you, it's me. That's what I am. That's who I am. Yeah. So it's now open to you for investigation and experimentation, because the Quran exactly offers what you're seeking. Is there a way of falsifying whether this is communication from God or not, the creator, designer or not? Because if this creator says, look, this is what I'm saying, who I am, and I've given you this communication, you have these falsification tests to prove that it's not me, prove that this communication is not from me. If you cannot falsify it, then you know it's who I am and it's what I've given.
Yeah, thank you. you
Pleasure speaking to you.
Pleasure talking with you. Thank you. Thank you for your time.
You too. And have some lunch, right? Sorry to interrupt your lunch for a long time. You take care. Take care.